Pray, meditate, proclaim, and fellowship with one another. I told you last week, a little bit corny, but I told you about letters. It's a mnemonic that reminds me. I like mnemonics. The St. Augustine talked about semiotics, that part of theology is having pictures in your mind to remember. Back in the day when there were no printing presses, they used vegetables and ideas like this to remind you of things. And if you want to be reminded of fellowship, think let us. Think let us. Corny, yes, but it works. And then it says, consider how you stir one another to love and good deeds. Think of a spoon, and whenever you mix things, something good happens. Something of different flavor happens. And it goes on to say, do not neglecting to meet together. You can think of a steak. Of course, we know lunch is coming soon, but it's a good way to remember things. And then it says, as some are in the habit of not doing it, but keep meeting one another. I know you're going to have fist bumps and all of these things and be a little bit more, not antisocial, but watch your social things. But in the midst of that, go have coffee whenever you can. Just make sure the guy doesn't have a cough and a cold and he's not blowing on you. And encourage one another all the more. And I love the small groups online. And when you're doing that, when you're having fellowshipping, when you're doing all of this together, whatever it is you're doing, please ask each other these questions. What are you praying for? Just talk to the person beside you and say, what are you praying for? Let's just pray together. I just had coffee with a guy named Richie, and I asked, what are you praying for? And we started to pray for each other. What are you meditating on? What is it that God's put in your mind and your heart that you want to believe God for in His Word in this season? And finally, what has He done for you lately? This is actually what it means to pray, meditate, proclaim.